Hello everybody, hello. Welcome. Glad you could make it. I am Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com, and we do this live stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern for those that are mountain challenged. Glad you could join us. Happy holidays. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Hope your New Year's is awesome as well. Speaking of New Year's, yeah, that's Monday. Okay, yeah, so we'll be streaming next Wednesday, I do believe. We're going to do our shipping report. We're going to do a giveaway, and I'll give you some updates about what's been going on here at Dan's Fish. And then we'll get to your questions and comments. So if you want to know anything about keeping aquarium fish, breeding aquarium fish, setting up an aquarium, building a fish room, shipping aquarium fish, freshwater aquarium fish, I can talk about most things with that. Plants, I don't know a whole lot. Inverts, I know a little bit. I'm not a true expert. I'm no Chris Luca, that's for sure. And yeah, but let's get going with the shipping report, which is, I am thrilled to say, we have had no losses in shipping since I last talked to you. 100% success since our stream last Wednesday. Now, of course, we haven't shipped any fish since our stream last Wednesday because of the holiday. So I guess it doesn't mean anything, but I'm going to take it. It's been a long time since we've had a 100% successful shipping report. So I'll take the victory, even though it means nothing. We had 100% success and 100% failure this last week. Yeah. Oh, wow. Alexander Engelhardt is here. Alexander, it's good to see you, my friend. Happy holidays. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you could make the stream. You must have done something because it's Alexander Engelhardt gifted 50 Dan's Fish memberships. Thanks, Alexander. Happy holidays, man. I really appreciate it. And I hope your D&D nights are going well, but I'm glad you could join us here tonight. All right. Well, that's awesome. You just made 50 people like super happy. There's 185 folks here, 193. It just keeps growing. So have they all been given out already? Looks like it has. Looks like all 50 have been assigned. Ooh, that was fast. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so with that amazing shipping report, which is meaningless yet fun to say, let's get to our giveaway. Yeah. So the giveaway is for a fish that I think is pretty darn cool. It's the Flame Paradise fish. These guys. Now, these are pictures I took a while ago of ours. Let's just go over there to the website, shall we? And you can see a video if you click here of the actual stock. The tails were a little bit ratty, but they're healing up nicely. They're still not perfect. They came in with torn up tails, and I don't know, although I suspect that it's because when they were in holding before they were shipped to me, I wonder if they crowded them or something, and they kind of fought with each other. Paradise fish can be a little bit aggressive, but they're healing up pretty nicely. So I think I've been wanting to do this giveaway for a while, but I think that they're in good enough shape that I can do it now. Now, the tails might not be perfect yet, but they're definitely healing up. Really beautiful fish. Red body, blue fins, nice black margin. There's some white margin on there as well. I think they're an absolutely stunning paradise fish. They've been around for a while, but you never see them. When they first started the strain, in fact, scrolling here, you just don't see many at all. When they first started the strain, there's one. They had a lot of problems with it. The strain started back in the 90s, believe it or not. But you haven't seen it because there were a lot of problems. But it seems like they've solved those problems. They've got healthy stock. They know how to propagate these in good shape, and so there's been some neat ones coming out. Oh, those pictures aren't fantastic. Let's see here. I'm not finding the best pictures, but that should give you an idea. Red body, blue fins. And it's the same species as your standard paradise fish. So it's now that they've got the problems figured out, I find them to be quite hardy. So if you would like to win, to be entered to win some really pretty, not new, but hardly ever seen paradise fish, then enter hashtag flame in the chat. Hashtag flame, that's hashtag FLAME. No spaces, caps don't matter. That will enter you into our chat here. All right. With that, let's show you a couple things that we have here at Dan's Fish. We did list a few things for sale, and we have some more stuff that will be going on sale tomorrow and the next day, I believe, as much as we can get to it. With the holidays, everything's kind of backed up a little bit, but we were able to list some things. We have some albino bushy nose, some betta cochina. These I love. I featured these in our live bearer video. These are saffron mollies. I went a couple days ago and took pictures. So these are pictures of the actual fish we have for sale right now as of a couple days ago. They're a very unique molly. I think they're probably a hybrid of some kind somewhere back in the genetics. I think they borrowed from Sphenops. But they have the sail fin like Latipina. This is one of the males. Really beautiful, nice sail fin. Keeled scales, so kind of like a rough scaling on these fish. It's not dropsy or anything. That's just how they are. Then here's a group shot, you know, completely unfiltered, just so you can kind of see what they look like as a group. But I think it's one of the coolest mollies out there. Nice, big, thick-bodied molly with a great, really nice sail fin. And every now and then, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, if you see it here, there's a little bit of black in the fins, like a little bit of black blotching, a little bit on the body, a little bit on the fins. You can see it on the edge of the tail here, maybe on the upper margin there of the tail. And it's not on all of them, so I'm not sure exactly what else is in their genetics. They're obviously not albinos, right? They have nice dark eyes. There's a little bit of black on the dorsal here, but they're mostly a saffron orange looking fish. So that's the one that I think is pretty darn cool. We were able to get Battis ruberin. I did talk about these, I believe, last week, but I didn't have a picture yet. Here's a picture. This is not in like dominant fired up coloration, but they have this nice kind of checkerboard pattern on them. If you don't know Battis, they're a fascinating group of fish. We were able to get a picture of this four-spot Merry Widow that I talked about. Hard to get a picture of because these are tiny. This is a tiny little live bearer. But here's a male in just kind of a group shot that's, you know, kind of in focus but not really zoomed in. And then here's a nice close-up study of a female. So if you look at these okay, I got to read this. Quadripunctatus. I always say quadro. It's quadripunctatus. Just one you don't see very often. We were able to get some Orochi rice fish from a hobbyist breeder. Here is kind of the gray color. This is a black line. And usually if you bought a black rice fish, this is what you would get. They come from the same line, but we're calling that a gray, and here is what we're calling a black. Same gene pool and everything, just here are the blacker ones of the line that's being worked. And they have some nice kind of yellow in the fins. So I think these are probably the highest quality black rice fish that around. They're the best I've seen. Finally got a picture of the L306 red tiger plecos. They're gorgeous. Look how pretty these things are. My first time having these, my understanding is that they keep the orange color throughout their lifetime and don't fade out like some of the species do. Although looking at this, I see this one's a little faded out here. So I don't know if it was always like that and is going to keep the orange it had, and this one just has more orange, or if they do maybe fade out a little bit. We asked this last week, and someone responded that they've had some for quite a while and that they've kept the orange, but I don't think they'd had them for years. I think they'd had them for months. So if you know about the L306 pleco, if you've kept it long term or know someone who has and you've seen them long term, can you tell me, do they, and by long term I mean like, you know, 2 years or so. Do you know if they have that orange long term? I'm hoping they do. So another one everyone wants is Corydorus equus. I know I talked about those last week, so I won't be long, but we have a great group of these. These were aquarium bred and raised in Germany by a breeder there, and we were able to source them through Aquarium Glasser. So just a little bit of, oh, do I have pictures of the Guyana? I do. So the Manakapura redbacks, these are the best strain I've ever seen. These pictures are the group we had before, which were bigger. The group we have now are somewhat smaller. They don't have quite as much red and orange on them, but they will. It's the same strain, same breeder and everything, just they aren't quite as mature is all. And then these are the ones I didn't have a picture I wanted to show you last week. These are the Guyana red dragons. They have these red dots all over the body. And I don't think my pictures show the color off real well, but you get a sense of the saturation of the red dots. And got that one mid-yawn, which is always fun. So that is kind of the news as far as updating listings, stuff available at dansfish.com. We have a lot. I think we have at least 300 fish available for sale, different varieties of fish available right now. And more should go up in the next day or two. I'm also going to try to get a video out fairly soon. We'll see how that goes. I have scheduled to film tomorrow. And basically, I'm going to do a tour of our most expensive fish. Not the live bears, because we just did a video featuring live bears recently. And some of our live bears are some of our most expensive fish. So kind of excluding live bears and stuff that's been featured recently, we're going to go over that. So that should be fun to see, I think. Now, it's the holidays. Things are kind of crazy, so we'll see how quickly we can get that out. But I hope I can get it out in a timely manner. That's my goal. All right. I think that's the updates. So with that, let's get to your questions and comments, shall we? Before we do that, I want to thank our moderators. Thanks for being here. And welcome, Why Are We Always Yelling? Let's get to questions and comments. So I'm going to scroll up, and what I'm looking for here, for those that might be new, is these orange boxes. I just scroll until I see a bright orange. Oh, that's the whole enter the giveaway. A bright orange box. And those are things that say DansFish or at DansFish or hashtag DansFish. That's when I think, okay, this person's trying to get my attention. This comment is directed at me. So if you want me to see your comment, please put DansFish or hashtag DansFish or at DansFish. And it'll select the option that pops up then. Select the DansFish option that you'll see pop up. And it'll turn bright orange for me, so I'll see it. Bearded Bullets. Welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Hey, thanks for joining up. Welcome to the crew. Appreciate you being here. Jay Russ. I've also seen the strain of paradise called Blue Flame and this strain of paradise called Blue Flame and double red blue. Oh, sure. I'm sure there's 10 different common names for it. Absolutely. I've seen super red I've seen Blue Flame. I don't think I've seen double red blue. I've seen redback blue, and I've seen super red. So there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Pick your favorite. That's the problem with common names. Although, what else are you supposed to do? I guess you can't give it a scientific name because it's not a new species. It's just a newly developed strain. Well, it's just a strain of paradise fish. So, are we supposed to flame the chat? Yeah, if you want to type hashtag flame and flame it that way. Flame it, but gently. Gently, creation biology. What a fun name. Creation biology. The yin and the yang. All right. Chad Hunter. Hi, everyone. Question. I ordered 4 zebra angels from you about 2 months ago. All doing good, but one has stringy poop. Do I need to medicate? If so, what should I use? Okay. So back a while ago when I saw white stringy poop, I thought medicine, parasites must be. And then I got some information from a certified aquatic veterinarian. I think it's Dr. Jesse Sanders. Let me see if I can actually find this. Dr. Jesse Sanders? Yes. Dr. Jesse Sanders here has a video on white stringy poop. So if you look in here, you'll see it on her channel here. Let me just link this. By the way, if you guys are not watching videos from a certified aquatic veterinarians, what are you doing? Like, there's several now on YouTube that are just doing videos, releasing awesome information, and it's super helpful because fish medication has been something, or fish medicine, not just medication, but the whole realm of fish medicine is part of this hobby and this industry that is done so badly, so poorly. So why not get all the information that we can from people who are actually certified aquatic veterinarians instead of the Facebook group or whatever? Nothing wrong with a Facebook group, but really, what do they know? I mean, I've seen the most bizarre things on Facebook groups or comments or even YouTube videos. I've seen all kinds of stuff, right? If you've been around, you've seen it too, I'm sure. But instead of like wallowing in the confusion, let's go to the horse's mouth, the aquatic veterinarians, and find out, what's actually going on. Anyway, one of her videos is on white stringy poop. And what I found out is that is not necessarily due to a parasite. What white stringy poop in fish is this is a delightful term. It's an empty fecal casing. That's what that is. It's mostly empty. That's why it's white and stringy and all flimsy like that. Now, what causes that? Don't know. What that actually is fish diarrhea. So the equivalent to diarrhea in humans and mammals and things is white stringy poop in fish. So what you're seeing is a fish that has diarrhea. Now, what could cause that? Well, about as many things as could cause diarrhea in a human or a mammal, right? Stress, ate something that didn't agree with them, bacteria, virus, has the flu, there's so many things that can cause diarrhea that all we know if a fish has white stringy poop is that it has diarrhea. The cause, don't know, and without knowing the cause, don't know how to treat it. But barring access to someone who can actually identify that for sure for you, I think the best thing to do is start treating it with parasite medication because it seems to be more gentle on an aquatic system than than antibiotics than trying to kill bacteria. So if that was my fish, and a white stringy poop, and I couldn't get a true diagnosis, I'm not a veterinarian or anything, but what I would do in that case, just to tell you, without claiming to be a medical professional, is I think I would treat with praziquantel, metronidazole, and flubendazole. And I might treat with levamisole too, although in separate treatments, not at the same time by any means. So I think I would play with those 4 and see if that didn't make it better. Those will treat most parasites. And in our experience, you used to have a heck of a time with live bears, right? I mean, who among us hasn't? And we started doing things and having some success. And then this summer we had a veterinarian in residence, and that veterinarian was able to really help us a lot. We were able to diagnose what was going on and found some common things that were happening in live bears. And so now we put all of our live bears through a protocol, and it includes those medications I told you about. So that's what we do here. Without, claiming to be a professional and diagnosing your fish, I think that's what I would do if it was something that I couldn't get diagnosed for sure. Now be aware, when you treat with medications, you disrupt your system. What an aquarium is a complex ecosystem. It's a small ecosystem, but it's an ecosystem. And if you put medications in there that kill protozoans, which in worms and other things, which is what a lot of our parasites are, it hopefully will kill those, but it'll also kill a lot of other microfauna in the tank that are helping keep your tank in balance. And so you do need to change the water when you're using these medications. When you treat, oftentimes your water will become white and cloudy, and that's all the die-off of all the microfauna that you didn't even know was in there. And if you leave that in there, that's gross. That's a bacterial soup, right? That's just gonna decompose in there and you'll get an ammonia spike and all that stuff. So be aware that using pretty much any kind of medication almost will be a shock to an ecosystem. So you have to kind of deal with that if you're using medication. Dan, new glasses? No, man, these are the same old. Had these forever. You can tell because they're like kind of crooked. Like I've sat on them, I've dropped them, I've done lots of things to them since I got them, and so yeah. Yeah, I'm constantly adjusting them because they no longer, for a long time since I sat on them or whatever, they haven't quite sat nicely, so I'm constantly going like this, trying to like, come on, get straight. What I need to do is just get new ones. Can paradise fish live with rainbows? I think so. In fact, I'm pretty darn sure we've kept paradise fish with rainbow fish. Yeah, I think that would be a safe bet. I mean, imagining if you have rainbow fish, you have like a 4-foot long tank for adequate swimming room for the rainbows. I imagine we're talking about Melanotania species, Glossolepis, Chilotharina, that kind of thing, not little blue-eyed pseudomugils, not like thread fins or something like that. And in a case like that, then yeah, I think we're fine. Rainbow fish are large and they are quick swimmers. And paradise fish, especially if you get a group of them, they're not going to bother other fish. They're going to be so focused in on their own hierarchy that I think they're going to be okay with a fish like a rainbow fish. Now, I say they won't bother other fish. They'll definitely nip like long flowing fins. I wouldn't put them with like veil tail angelfish. I wouldn't put them with long fin guppies or any guppy really. Well, I've had endlers and stuff with them occasionally. And I wouldn't put them maybe with something that's kind of stationary like Corydoras and stuff like that. At least not without a plan B if they started picking on the Corys. Spinster Sister, my albino orange veil-tailed girls are simply the most beautiful fish I've ordered from you. We'll order more of them in 2024. Yeah, I hope to get more in 2024. In fact, that reminds me of a comment that I should address. Let's do that here. Let me see if I can get there. Someone brought up a point that I should address. Okay, here it is. Why do you sell these swordtails? I think it's talking about these. They can't really swim. Isn't that against your ethics? Not wanting too many fish in a bag, but selling crippled fish is okay? Maybe you can reevaluate this practice. And so I looked back at that clip, and on that clip, there's a couple of them that are not swimming, at least at the moment I'm taking the video. They're kind of resting down on the ground, kind of just hanging out. So if that's all you saw of those fish, it might appear that they don't swim well. But they do. All the veil-tailed, I want to say angelfish, all the veil-tailed swordtails I've got have been able to swim just fine with the long fins. So I'm not against long-finned fish. I'm against fish that have such crazy finnage that they can't actually exist and have a good life, right? So like rose-tail bettas is one that I don't bring in because the finnage is so massive that fish is kind of tied to the bottom. It really has a really, once it gets mature enough that fin is fully developed, I think it's got kind of a rough life. I don't think that with these. They're long tails, but they're really delicate and like they aren't massive. It's like someone that has really big thick hair versus someone that has really thin hair, right? These veil-tailed swordtails would have really thin hair in that case. So it's not really heavy, even though it's quite a bit of finnage. So in my observation with all the veil-tailed swordtails I have, they all can swim just fine. I don't think that's a problem. Now, if they had finnage that was so crazy that they literally couldn't swim and they were heavy and they would try to swim and then like sink back to the bottom and were struggling like rose-tail bettas can, then I would reevaluate. But so I can see looking back at that how this person might think that's true about these fish, just because in that one short clip, a couple of them are hanging out at the bottom. And I don't know why exactly. Sometimes fish do that. And sometimes I don't know for sure, but I wonder if they just eaten like a big meal or something and we're just like, digesting. I don't know for sure. But I've observed a couple types of veil-tailed swords long term, and I actually do think they're fine. I don't think that they're having a bad life. So that's why I will continue to bring them in and sell them until I get different information. But I don't think it's the same thing as like a rose-tail betta or something. But I'm glad she's doing well for you. Actually, I should ask you, Spinster Sister, you've had a few veil-tail swords. Do you find that they struggle? I mean, obviously they have longer fins, so they swim a little different, but do you agree, or do you, and anyone else that's got any veil-tail swordtails from me, have you seen it being, am I wrong? Like, let me know. I'm open to other people's opinions on this if they actually have experience with the fish. Scotty, the fish freak. What kind of projects did you get done during the no shipping time? Any big upgrades, new killies, new employees? We do have a new employee, yes. We have someone else that started just a little while ago. And big projects. Okay, so a lot of cleaning, a lot of sorting, a lot of like just decluttering, just stuff that we've had here for a long time. And we need to do some more of that. A lot of cleaning aquariums. The aquariums are looking pretty good. A lot of scrubbing algae off of lids. A lot of musical fish, just moving fish around to free up space and make sure that they're with, dithers and other things that make them feel comfortable. And then we built a whole new shelving unit down on the back wall there. We've been wanting to do that for quite a while. We installed 2 new airdrops so we can have 2 more people helping at the shipping station, because like every week we're busier than the week before. We're gonna send out a crazy ton of fish next week. It's gonna be insane. So we needed a couple more people to be able to work there. We put in a new sink to help what we call washing fish. That's when the day the fish are being shipped out, we take the water, the bag with the water they've been in overnight, and we change that water. We put in a new sink for that and a new faucet for that. So we have these handy dandy little faucets that automatically dispense the correct amount of water. So you don't have to, sit there in a bucket with a measuring cup or whatever. You just put it under the faucet and it spits out the right amount of water for the bag. So that helps things move along. So we have 2 of those now. What else did we do? Oh, we installed some aquariums. We had some leakers and some aquariums that have been empty for a bit. Either they came with defects or I cracked them when I was trying to drill them or whatever. And so we've replaced several of those with tanks that actually work. So yeah, we've got quite a bit done. And then also we gave people a break. Like we let people have a holiday and, enough time that they could travel to see family out of state if they needed to or whatever. So a little bit of R&R as well. So yeah, as far as new fish coming in, hasn't been much of that since we last talked. It's too close to the holidays to be this close to the holidays. Flights are delayed. Cargo holds are full of luggage because people are traveling with lots of stuff during the holidays. And oftentimes the flight might take off, but your cargo didn't make it onto the plane it was supposed to, so you'll get a delay. And it's cold, so that's bad. So we haven't brought much in. We won't bring much in until after the holidays end. Then we'll bring some stuff in. So yeah, quite a bit. We've caught up on many things. It's been nice. Okay, 4, 5, 11. What's a good way to tell if a counter table can hold the weight of aquariums? Oh man, that's territory I don't want to get into. Because if I get into it and I'm wrong and you have a catastrophe, I'm going to feel real bad. Okay, how can I answer that without... Yeah, I'm sorry, this is a 4511. I'm going to pass that one. I don't... without actually like just explaining it on the fly, I'm sure I'll make a mistake. I'm sure I'll do something, there will be a problem. Brian Radovic, I medicated with no planaria tonight, and my female pygmy swordtail was acting high right after. Cartwheeling, ooh, when she surface fed, etc. I moved her to another tank. Any other ideas? I mean, if you medicated with no planaria and it happened right after, then, I mean, that's the logical conclusion, is that that's what did it. What is the active ingredient? No planaria ingredients. I've looked this up before, but I've forgotten. The main ingredient is betel nut palm extract. Okay. What is that ingredient? What is that? Betel nut palm extract ingredients. Okay, what's that? Alkaloids are the main active ingredients. And methyl. Okay, yeah, I don't know enough about, you know, betel nut palm extract to know exactly what to tell you, other than, I mean, I think it's right to move her out. Yeah, I wouldn't use that stuff with that fish in the tank anymore. But yeah, I've never used that. I've never used no planaria myself, so I don't know much about it. Any fish will do. Happy New Year's. Question: what do you think your average loss of, say, per 100 fish you receive? Well, I'll tell you what my goal is. My goal is to get to 5%. That's what I want to get to. So that's what we're working towards. I don't have an actual number right now on the latest, but we're working towards that. What I will tell you is that we are way, way, way better than the industry average. That I know. But I don't want to get into specifics other than to say our goal is 5%. And that includes losses on our side, and along with any losses that customers experience when the fish are shipped to them. So our goal for the customer is that 1% or less losses or problems happen. That's what we're shooting for. And we're close. We're 98.49 as of last week. 98.49% success. What we want overall is to have 5% or less fish, you know, pass away in the supply chain. And that's one reason we're hiring. I'm going to put a plug here for this position that we're hiring. If you go to careers here, Chief Fish Health Officer, we want to hire someone whose entire job is making sure that the fish are healthy, diagnosing fish, treating fish, helping us get to our 5% number. We're on the way there. We're doing pretty well, but we want to get to 5%. Cody Miller, do you have electric blue jack pairs for sale, or can you get them? We have electric blue jack Dempseys for sale, but not in pairs. They're not big enough right now that I'm comfortable sexing them. They're beautiful, but I can't for sure say, oh, that's a male and that's a female. Stephen White, living in Spain, I am fortunate to have access to lots of aquarium glacier fish, and they all have been top notch. Ah, Stephen White, living in Spain. Sounds warm. I'm in Wyoming. It ain't warm. Why are we always yelling? Hey, thank you as well. Brian, again, she seems okay now. Just wondering if there's anything else I can do for her. In my opinion, salt is never a bad choice. So if she's still stressed and you want to just help her through a stressful time, 5 grams per liter of salt, that's 5 parts per thousand of salt. Never hurt a fish, as far as I know, or any aquatic veterinarian that I've queried on the topic knows. Timotheus Lay. Hey, right back at you. How small of tank would you go on a tank? Okay, how small of a tank can you keep a group of gobies, and how small a group of gobies would you recommend? Assuming no oxygen, ammonia, blah, is all good. Okay, so if you can keep the parameters good, how small of a tank for a group of gobies? Timotheus, can you tell me which goby species you're asking about? Some are small, like, you know, an inch, under an inch, right around an inch. And some gobies get eaten size. So it just depends on the kind you're talking about. Tiny sausage casing. That's right. That's right. Passing wind. White stringy poop is a tiny sausage casing. That's correct. No, I don't think it's actually intestines, but I get your point. GNC Aquatics, so stop feeding the fish Taco Bell. You know, that could do it. That could definitely be the problem. Can you turn up the volume? I will. Boots and Cats. Is anyone else having trouble hearing me? I'll turn it up one notch there. Is that any better? Usually when someone's having trouble with the volume, I ask if anyone else is having an issue, and it's usually a one-off. So I just turned it up a bit. Dragon Lair, I'm half deaf and I hear Dan just fine. Y'all must be dealer than me. I'm sure that's an autocorrect. But something I can't do live. I can turn up the volume on the lav, and I just did that. Hopefully that's better. But something else I can do is go on the camera itself and turn up the volume. I just can't do that while we're streaming live. Susan Moore Guppies, white stringy poop. That's very helpful information. Yeah, check out that video. Check out Dr. Jessie Sanders. She's an aquatic veterinarian. And look at that video she's got. It was good information for me, although it doesn't help. I mean, information helps, but it would be so nice if every time there's white stringy poop, it's like, oh, here's the cause and we know what to do. But when you find out it's just a diarrhea symptom, you know. Kayla's Reptiles and Aquatics, talking about the volume. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and see if it's better. My volume seems low. Okay. Okay, I'll turn it up one more. Hopefully that's helpful. If not, I've got to wait till the stream ends and then I can go turn it up on the camera. I've done everything I can here, I think. Let me check on my system here. I don't think I can turn it up any further here. Properties. Yeah, that's all I can do right there. Okay. Then what I can live. Let me give myself a note to remember to turn it up on the camera itself once the stream's done. Also, I can project a little bit. I've got a theater voice. Up, audio, on camera. It's interesting, though, because last week I literally had a beard covering the microphone, a spawning mop beard, and it seemed to go okay. But I can do that. I guess it depends on, you know, if you're on a device that will only turn it up so high, then the only option for me to help you is to turn it up higher on my end. So I'll try to do that for the next one. Maybe the green screen is messing with the appearance of your glasses. Oh, it could be. I don't know. I don't think the green screen picks up the blue. Does it? Oh, it is twinkling a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that could very well be it. It's funny, like I'm wearing a black shirt right now, so I had to change some settings. Because just what you're wearing changes the light enough that it messes with the green screen. It's sensitive stuff. Doug Nip, have you ever tried raising killifish from eggs purchased off a site like Aquabid? I have. And I've had great success for many years raising killifish eggs that I source from other, you know, American Killifish Association hobbyists. That's worked really well for me. I haven't had very good luck when I bought them off Aquabid or eBay or whatever. So my advice would be buy them from a hobbyist in the United States and you'll probably be okay. But when I've tried to bring them in from, you know, big producers in Asia and such, it didn't go well. What I experienced was I got a few eggs to hatch. Most of them were belly sliders, and most of them died within a few days after that. So very small yield. I'm sure they sent me like 100 eggs or something. I probably got like 5 to hatch, and then within a few days, I didn't have any. And what I noticed is they shipped them in just an envelope. There was no insulation or anything. I mean, it was an insulated envelope, but still, it's just an envelope. And so you put that on an airplane, it goes in the cargo hold. The cargo hold's unheated. The airplane goes way up in elevation, and guess what? It's very cold up there at elevation where an airplane flies. So if you're in an unheated cargo hold in an envelope, you might get too cold, and that might be a big problem. The other issue I noticed is when I hatched them, a lot of them were belly sliders, and a lot of them, actually I should revise that. They weren't belly sliders. They couldn't swim, but they had crooked spines. So a belly slider is an underdeveloped killifish. It hasn't absorbed its yolk fully yet, and so it's like a baby cory, right? It's a yolk sac with a little tail sticking out, and it can't swim properly. Sometimes those recover, but they usually die. And then if you keep the egg incubating a little longer, then they finally have absorbed the yolk, you let them out, they're fine. But if you keep them in the egg too long, I think, what I've experienced, and I think that's the reason, is a lot of crooked spines. And so what I think happened was that they were just overdue for hatching when I got them, and they probably got cold in the cargo plane, in the hold of the plane. So what I would advise is get them from someone in the United States, so they're not in transit as long. Do it in good weather, or get them from someone who's going to insulate them properly so they don't go through that temperature issue. Cody Miller, will you do a tour of Brian Legasia's aquarium when it opens? I don't know anything about that. I don't know of any aquarium opening that's close enough to me that I could easily get to it. Brian Legasia Aquarium? What is this? Oh, Barsic, the reptile guy? I didn't even know that he was opening an aquarium. Last I knew about Brian was that he was fighting cancer. That's the last I knew. Is that the same Brian? Anyway, I have no plans to do that. No, I'm not saying I won't, but I'm typically not a guy that, at this point where I'm at in the business cycle, that just gets up and goes and does fun things. There has to be a real reason to do it for the business. And maybe there is. Maybe going there and doing that would help, expand our profile and help increase sales and increase our customer base. But generally we can do that without spending, what it would take to do a trip like that, which is at least a couple grand, usually, to fly out somewhere, stay, all that. But I will look into it a bit. I did. If that's the Brian I'm thinking of, who used to breed tons of snakes and stuff, and if he's kicked cancer and is healthy enough that he can now open an aquarium, oh man, that's awesome. I'm just glad he's healthy if that's what's going on. Anyway, I'll have to look into that. I'm not up to date on that. My name is Nobody. Last week I received 3 sets of live bears from you. 1 week and I have fried in all 3 tanks. That's live bears for you. Super blown away by the quality. Happy New Year. Hey, Happy New Year right back. And I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that shipment went well and the fish are doing good for you. Joe MTL, I live in Canada with no access to meds. What natural solution would you have for internal parasites? I don't have one, Joe. I'm sorry. I rely on my veterinarians to tell me what to use, and then I use it, and it's always a prescription medicine. Is there a way you can, I understand they're not going to sell over the counter to a hobbyist in Canada, but is there a way to build a relationship with an aquatic veterinarian and then they can prescribe medication to you? I don't know. I know there's not a lot of aquatic veterinarians in the world, so I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, I honestly don't know. I just know the veterinarians that are the medications that my veterinarians have told me to use and the dosages, and so I do it. Dan Khaki Nurse, Do you think you will be at Co-op's expansion reopening event? That is something I would like to do, especially in light of the fact that the Co-op and I are now affiliating for each other. So, by the way, I should post that. I have this handy dandy link down in the description that you can click on. And if you click on that and then buy anything from the Aquarium Co-op channel, from aquariumcoop.com, then, hang on, I'm trying to go there to find the link right now. And when I do anything live on camera, I always screw it up. So, okay, here we go. So let me post that link down here if I can. Yeah. Okay, I think this will work. So if you click this link that I'm putting in there right now and then go buy anything from the Co-op, then I'll get a little cut of that, and that will help help our business. So I do that for Corey. I refer people over to Corey because I think he's a good dude. I've been following his business for a long time. And then if you go to our website here and scroll down here, you'll see a little spot here as well, where if you click on that, that'll take you to his website, and we'll be the affiliate for that referral. And then he refers people to us, and we reciprocate. So for now, it's going well. On our end, it's going well, and I think he's happy with how it's going too. We've got some work to do to kind of scale it up and everything, but in light of that partnership, I would like to get out there for the opening. Yeah. Is there a hard date on that yet? I watched his last video, which was the complete tour of his fish room, and I didn't hear the hard date, but I was working at the time, so it was playing in the background while I was doing stuff, so I might have missed it. So if there's a hard date, let me know. As far as I know, there hasn't been one announced yet. Any Fish Will Do, Happy New Year. Oh, already got that one. Thank you, Any Fish Will Do, for the very generous super chat and the question. Bardsdale Golden's been a member for 2 months. Thanks, Bardsdale, for being a member of the crew. Hi, Dan. Are the snow white bushy-nosed pleco a variety of albino? I have super reds and lemons from you and was eyeing the whites. I don't think the whites are an albino. I need to get over and look at them to be sure, but I think they have black eyes. Yeah. So they have black eyes. So they're not an albino. There may be some kind of leucistic or something like that. At least from what I'm seeing here, they look like they have black eyes. Yeah. From what I remember, they do. So unless that picture's deceiving me, I don't think they're an albino. They're really neat, though. We also have some of the blue-eyed lemons, if you like the yellows more. But the snow white bushies really are kind of just white, maybe with a little pinkish hue to them. They don't have the yellow that you might want if you're looking for... You have super reds and lemons. Okay, well, if you already have those, then the standard albinos are going to be more of a yellow. So you have a red, you have a yellow. Yeah, why not add a white? That would at least be another color variety. Yeah. Kelly Foreman, Happy New Year. You too, Kelly. Hope you're doing really well. Give Jake a big, wet, sloppy kiss on the cheek and say, that's from Dan. And then report the reaction. I want to know. Only we. Have you ever considered selling schooling fish in packs instead of individually? We have considered that, and we decided against it. And the reason we decided against it is there's been plenty of times in my past when I've gone and bought one or two of a schooling fish, and the reason is I already had a school of them. I was just trying to augment the school a little bit, or just get a little bit different sex ratio in the school because I wanted to breed them eventually or whatever. So we basically want people to be able to do whatever they need to do when they purchase fish, to have the flexibility so that they can fill out whatever the goal is in the aquarium. Sometimes they might need to buy one fish to make that happen. So we don't try to police the schooling by selling them only as schools. And in fact, that doesn't really work anyway, because I mean, a true school of fish is usually a lot more fish than any pack is of 3 or 6 anyways. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. We did consider it, but I was like, no, we don't want to force people to buy a certain number of fish. Like, what if they only need one? And that will complete their school. I think that happens quite a bit, actually. Spinster Sister, one of my orange veil-tailed girls did sit on the bottom for 2 days, but I think she was nervous. They're now zooming around the tank and begging for food. Yeah, that can happen. Sure, I mean, anytime a newly arrived fish comes, of course, it's going to be different behavior. But I'm glad that she's now zooming around begging for food. All my veil-tailed swords are excellent swimmers. Yeah, that's been my experience as well. Okay, Bardsdale Goldens again. Would it be possible for you to turn off commercials during the live streams? Love your content and your fish, of course. My live bears are thriving. I was not aware I had commercials on. Are you guys getting commercials like live right now? I thought that the replay had a commercial, but I thought the live stream didn't. As far as I know, I don't have commercials during the stream turned on. They've always been popping up this thing before every stream that says turn on commercials, and I've never done it. Insert ad, delay ads. Okay, I can delay ads, but only for 10 minutes. It looks like YouTube has decided that they want to make money on live streams and is automatically inserting them. And all I can do is delay one for 10 minutes or click insert ad and insert one right now. So what I'm gathering just from these 2 new buttons, these are new. See, I clicked this here and it went on pause for 9 minutes and 59 seconds. And then this one I can click to insert an ad. Those didn't used to be there as far as I know. So I'll have to look, but I think what they've done is YouTube has said, we're getting more money, so we're going to just do ads during live streams, possibly. I didn't knowingly do that. How often, if you guys are, I want to scroll to the bottom and see what people are saying. If you are getting ads, how often? Like, one thing I don't like is sometimes I'll do a live stream and close it out, and I'll do several of them, and then I'll get a comment on one that says like, hey, too many commercials, and I'll go look and I'll be like, holy cow, like YouTube will put like a commercial every 3 minutes. I'm like, I did not do that. So then I have to go back and like take out a bunch of ads. But usually what happens, as far as I know, is I end the stream, YouTube automatically places like 3 or 4 ads in an hour-and-a-half stream, which I'm like, oh, that's fine. But every now and then it gets a glitch or something and just goes boom, boom, ad. YouTube is adding ads to all live streams. I've only had 1. I've seen 3 ads in an hour. Okay, that's not horrible. Once or twice during a stream. Yeah, okay. So at least they're not doing, like, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes people are like, I like your stuff, but I can't watch it. You put too many commercials. And I'm like, I look and I'm like, oh, geez, they sure did. It's not me. It's really not. Leo! Hope the puffers are doing well. Not fish related, but been watching stuff about animal shelters. We should adopt, not shop for dogs and cats. So many amazing dogs and cats need homes. Yeah, I mean, I worked at an animal hospital. That's how I paid for college. And when people would come in and ask, what breed should I get? We'd be like, well, let's go over to the local shelter here and see what you fall in love with, because they need homes. So I don't have anything against someone who wants to breed show dogs and, do that as a hobby and do it responsibly. But the puppy mill thing, of course, that bothers me. So I agree, though. If you're not specifically someone who's like, I want to show dogs, or I need a specific breed for like police work, or like a German Shepherd for police work, or whatever it is. If you just want a companion, dude, mutts are awesome. And in my experience anyway, working at animal hospitals, mutts tend to have hybrid vigor. So less of the problems you can get from inbred pure lines. Hip dysplasia in some of the large breeds, or mange in some of the small breeds, things like that. So yeah, I agree. all of my personal dogs that I've had over my life have been mutts from the pound. Yeah. Well, and that's only 2 dogs, right? Okay, scrolling up here, the last one I can see is the one from Brian. It says, try asking your question with @DanceFish at the start so it gets highlighted in his end. He might miss your question. Yeah, so you can do @DanceFish, you can do #DanceFish, you can just type DanceFish. If you've done it right, though, a little box will pop up. Let me see if I can demonstrate. See this? I'm typing DanceFish, and as I do, some boxes pop up. If you select this one, and then type a message for me, which I'm not going to do because I don't need to message myself, then it'll create this bright orange box. But you can do that just by typing DanceFish too, I think. No? I thought you could. How about hashtag? That's funny. I know I've seen plenty of times people have put DanceFish. Does that have to be capitalized for some weird reason? And it's turned orange. But anyway, hashtag or @ symbol, and it should turn orange for me. Okay. Carrie Britton just got a $300 gifted to me for your site. Oh, awesome. I emailed about breeding for you guys. Can't wait to make my first order and get some of the European strains established here in the US. Carrie, I can't wait for you to do that either. And please breed so many that I can buy more from you. There's a lot of really cool fish out there, and some of them are not going to be widely distributed unless we get the price point down a little bit. And if I have to breed or import in small batches from breeders overseas, I'll never get there. Just that doesn't, the industry doesn't work that way. But if we can get some folks in the United States breeding them and distributing them, or breeding them in large numbers so I can buy them in large numbers and get the price down a bit, I would love to do that. Stephen White, have you had any experience keeping parrot tilapia pollini, or how do you say that, andapa? Were you able to breed them? Any suggestions for doing so? Well, I'm going to disappoint you. I've never kept any of the Madagascar cichlids. I have in places I've worked, fish stores I've worked in, but in my own personal collection I haven't. And in the fish stores I worked in, we'd get them in, and then, you know, within a little while they would be sold out. So I don't have long-term experience with them. But if you go to Daniken Aquatics, their next live stream, ask them that question. They have some, I think they have pollini that they've had for a long time in a tank. What are those, 250-gallon tanks? I think they've got them in something, these big tanks. And they're big, impressive fish, and they've had them for quite a while. So that's someone I know that's kept them long-term that you could ask questions about. But I don't have direct experience with them besides just on the retail side. Miss Plumber's Tub. Are those little blue snow globes at the bottom of your green screen? Oh, is the green screen acting up? Oh, these. No, these are marbles. Yeah, so these are just blue marbles in there to complement the electric blue jack Dempsey's. It says, I think it says Dan's Fish if you saw the whole thing. So, or Dan F? I can't remember exactly. Dano did the decorations on this tank. The other Dan, there's 2 Dans that work here. I'm one, and the other one we call Dano. And I think he spelled out Dan's Fish on the tank. Well, blue marbles. Right, there are 349 folks here. That's not too bad. I think we should celebrate. I think we should celebrate with a giveaway. That's what I think we should do. So let's do that. 212 folks have entered the giveaway for some really cool flame paradise fish. And the winner is, ooh, look at chat scroll. Let's let that catch up. Now that'll be forever. Let's roll it now. Greg Watson. Greg Watson. Look at that profile picture. That is one respectable, handsome man. Greg, I would let you do my taxes. I would let you represent me in a court of law. Anyway, Greg, you have won. Congratulations. You've got 2 minutes to chime in and let us know that you're here, because you do have to be present to win. 2 minutes. Google timer. Timer is going. All right, Greg, chime into the chat so you can claim your winnings. While we're waiting for Greg, let's get to some more questions and or comments and or both. And or both, and or covers that, Dan. GNC Aquatics, my cichlids ate the tail off one of their tank mates. I separated him. Will his tail grow back? It depends. Let me show you. Okay. You've got the tail fin, and then you've got the peduncle. Oh, that's actually, here we go. So these are fin rays that go out. This is flesh, muscle tissue, things like that, connective tissue. If the tail, if the fin part, the fin rays are eaten down, those will grow back usually. At least, I don't know a fish they wouldn't grow back on. There might be one. But if it's down all the way to the point here, to the muscle and connective tissue and stuff here, then it won't grow back. It's like your fingernail, right? You can tear your fingernail all the way down here. In fact, I've done it, toenails as well. It's no fun, and they'll grow back. But if you damage it down into the past the growth plate, or whatever the official term is down here, I'm not trying to flip you off, I swear, then it won't grow back. So it's kind of the same with a fish's tail. It just depends on how far down it was damaged. All right, Greg Watson is here. Woohoo! Yes, love those fish. All right, Greg, love you. Thanks for participating. Thanks for being part of the contest. Makes giveaways more fun when people actually enter to win them, you know. Would you send us an email, Greg, to hello@dansfish.com? That's HELLO@dansfish.com, and we'll arrange a date to get those sent to you. It probably is not going to be next week or the week after, because we're going to be running like mad catching up on the backlog from the holidays. Since we can't ship fish right close to the holidays due to delays, we always get a little backed up. So bear with us a bit, because we want to get all the orders processed and out first. But once that's cleared, we'll get you taken care of. I mean, send the email today or tomorrow, please. But it might be a couple weeks before. We might schedule a couple weeks out, is what I'm trying to say. Well, GNC Aquatics, I hope that fish's tail does grow back. I hope it goes well. All right. Ash. Yes, it's the same guy that breeds the snakes. He's still fighting with cancer, but doing this anyway. Okay, Brian. Yes. Well, I'm glad he's got the energy and stuff to be able to do this. That's great. Rhonda Fitzpatrick, he is not healthy still. Oh, has pancreatic cancer, but he's opening a fairly large aquarium. Unfortunately, he's not doing well. The aquarium is more of a legacy project. He started to build it out just before he got his diagnosis. Is now trying to get it done. Okay. Yeah, I used to follow Brian. I used to breed colubrids, corn snakes and king snakes and trinket snakes and different Asian rat snakes. And so I loved watching Brian's channel. But then he kind of got out of that a little bit, and he used to just show his collection and breeding and incubating the eggs and all that, and I thought that was really cool. Then he kind of shifted out of that, and so that's what I was interested in, so I stopped following him at that point. But I did check in every now and then. I knew that he had been diagnosed with cancer and such. But man, I hope it goes well. I'll need to check into that again. Okay, all right. Well, Brian, you're not watching this, I'm sure, but just want to wish you good luck anyway. And thanks for all the hours of entertainment and information that I got from you. I really appreciate it. Ray's Fish Room, my longfin swordtails I got from you swim fine. Yeah. Yep. That's 3 for fine. Christopher Junkin, Brian's not doing well. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, pancreatic's no joke, from what I understand. Christopher Junkin, he purchased the grocery store across from his reptiles and has been turning it into a public aquarium. It should be open in March. Okay. Thanks for getting me up to speed, guys. Dan Khaki Nurse, both of you and Bob have affiliates to links to Co-op. I'm torn. Probably you. Haven't shopped with Steenfot yet. Oh, go with Bob. Bob's a great guy. I've got a whole separate business of selling fish that's doing great. Yeah. If you're torn between me and Steenfot, go with Steenfot. I mean, the guy's got a wedding coming up. He got engaged. So, yeah, if you've got a choice between me and Steenfot, help Bob out with his wedding. That is just fine with me. Yeah, Johnny says this. This is so true. Love the snow white plecos. Never not stressed when I see a pale pile of white fish laying on the bottom of the tank as I walk by. That's so true. Every time I walk by the snow white pleco tank, I stop and I'm like, no, oh, that's fine. Those are snow whites. They should look like that. Yep. That's true. They do that to me. Dave's Fish Room. What are the chances of you bringing in the red-eyed red tail puffer again? I'd really like to get some. Not good. In our experience, they just wanted to tear each other to shreds. Now, speaking of Bob Steenfot and Chelsea, they keep them together with no problem. But I couldn't keep them together with no problem, and I just don't have the ability right now to keep like one fish per tank, which is what I would need to do if I brought them in again. One day we'll have a setup, and we'll have like small little aquariums over, flow-through system. We can keep bettas and stuff, and maybe we'll put puffers in there as well. But until we can do that, I'm not going to bring them in again. It was just, okay, so I tried to bring that fish in for years. I love that fish. I love it. I loved it from a distance for years. I finally got it. My understanding was they were fairly peaceful. Put them together, they were not peaceful, not with each other. So, yeah, that was rough. Chris Ladd, I got commercials too. Yeah, it sounds like people are getting like in an hour, maybe 1 to 3. So that doesn't seem horrible. It's a new YouTube feature. Doesn't matter if they're turned on anymore. Yeah. Yeah, getting mid-roll ads. I did get a notice from YouTube a couple months ago that was like, in order to better serve you, we're now going to take over your ads, basically. Basically, YouTube said, we want to get paid. And I thought that wasn't going into effect until February, but maybe this bid is going into effect now. But 2 ads in an hour, I mean, that's not horrible. And they're only, they're short. It's not like television when you're trying to watch a football game or something, and it's like, there's 5 minutes of ads every 10 minutes. It's not that. Hopefully they keep it low. Okay, just the folks letting me know that it's not me, it's YouTube. Yeah, I figured it was. I remembered something, but it's been a couple months and I don't remember the fine print. Deb Hall D, boy, I've been out for a while. Steenfot is engaged? Awesome. That's totally public information, right? Yeah, I think he announced that. Yes, okay. Okay, good. For a second there, I was like, was that private? No, I know that because he said it on Facebook or something, and I commented. Yeah, okay. That was not a private conversation. Whew, for a second there, I was like, did I let cat out of bag? That would have been bad. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. It's totally something I would... I mean, I'm an honest, trustworthy guy, I think, but that had me for a second there. I was like, did I just betray some serious trust? Whew. Okay. All right, James Espinal just picked up a set of Episto Gourami McMasterite Gold Red Shoulder. Awesome. I love those. Currently, it's just 2 females and 1 male and a 20 long. Would I be okay adding a skull pencil or tetrafish or too much? Totally, yeah. See, I've got some McMasterite right now with some Melanitania amagerensis. We've kept them with pencil fish. We've kept them with tetras. The key is to make sure whatever tank mates you keep them with don't outcompete them for food. Apistogramma or grazers. They're going to go graze all day long, little bite of food here, little bite of food there. You feed them, and they can eat semi-quickly when they kind of figure out what the deal is, but they're not a rapid feeder. And so they could get outcompeted. So can you keep them with rainbow fish? Sure, we do. But you've got to have a strategy for making sure that the pistos get plenty of food. So I would, whatever you choose as a tank mate, just make sure there's a strategy to get the pistos enough food. Kurt Brudding, what was your favorite fish in stock this year? Oh, yeah, Aphyosemion bivitatum funge. This is my favorite fish. I absolutely love this fish. Boom, these guys. In fact, I love them so much that if you look at this picture that I took of this fish, took this a few years ago, a couple of my breeding males here were sparring, and got a beautiful shot of them in full flare. And if you compare that to our logo, where can I see the logo bigger? That's not really big. Anyway, you'll see that this logo is a silhouette of that picture. We took this picture and stylized it into a silhouette. So this is a fish that's near and dear to my heart, so much so that I made it my business logo. I love this. They're so colorful. They have such neat finnage, and they get decent size. For this type of fish, which is a chrome Aphyosemion, these kinds of killifish, they have these kind of elongated fins. There's bivitatum's, there's bitaniotum's, there's polacci, there's volcanums, and a few others. These tend to grow bigger than most of the other species. So they're kind of big and sturdy, and I think they're the ultimate fish. That's my favorite fish. I love that thing. Killers, Reptiles, and Aquatics throwing down a Pippi Longstocking super chat. Thanks, Bob. Always putting some pep in my step with Pippi. Some Pippi pep. There's 278 folks here. That's not too bad. Not too bad for a holiday week. Thanks for being here, folks. Appreciate you joining us. The next question is, let's see here. Okay, Dragon Lair says it doesn't do that box on Android phones. Yeah, I know that sometimes there are some devices that won't do the orange box thing. I don't know if it's all Androids or just some, because some people that have Androids, if I remember right, it does work on. But yeah, there are some devices it doesn't work with. That is true. Leo29 Aquatics got my first batch of Pelvicochromis Rolofi. These parents are the best parents. I have not had Rolofi as far as I know. I've had a lot of Pelvicochromis and related types. Let's look at this one. I'm saying I don't have it, and then he's going to come back and be like, well, I bought it from you. As far as I remember, I don't think I've had this one yet. Yeah, Pelvicochromis are awesome. When they get in their breeding coloration, let's see, that's Pulcher. How far do we have to go? There it is. There's Rolofi. When they get in their breeding colors and all that neat behavior and stuff, I think Pelvicochromis are just such a neat little Westie. So good for you. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you had some breeding success, because hashtag breeding is pleasure. Only we, which killifish would you recommend for a first killifish? Are they good community fish? There are so many species and varieties of killifish, it's hard to generalize. A few of them would be horrible community fish. Some of the little rivulus are so kind of nervous that you probably don't want them with most community fish. They're also slow eaters. Some of the more big boisterous species can be somewhat aggressive. Some can be downright aggressive. But in general, yes. Speaking in generalities, I think most killifish that are available on the market are good community fish. So most of your Aphyosemians, a lot of your Fundulopanchax, a lot of your Epiplates, a lot of your Aplochilus can be very good community fish. So it just depends on the one that you're looking for. I would recommend Fundulopanchax gardneri, let me show you this, as your first killifish, because they're not super expensive as killifish go. They're very hardy, they're prolific, and look how beautiful they are. This is a picture of an actual one that I had. My friend Stan's son took this picture, but this is a fish that I had in my collection. He took a picture of it. I think this is just gorgeous. I love these guys. I took that picture. You can tell. See the difference? Stan, me. Look at the reds on the steel blue color. The red margins, the yellow orange. Absolutely stunning. Not too expensive as killifish go, and a good beginner. Now, I've kept them in community tanks many times. They have the personality, I would say, of maybe of like a swordtail. So if it's a fish you could keep a swordtail with, you could probably keep a Fundulopanchax gardneri with it. But they do jump, so be aware. You need a tight-fitting lid or it's going to be a problem, like for sure. And it probably won't take that long. It's probably within the first couple nights they'll jump out of the tank. Miss Plumber's Tub, blue marbles that spell your name. Awesome. That's fun. Yeah, I think it said Dan's Fish or Dan's F or something. I think he was trying to compliment me. GNC Aquatics, thank you for the info. It should grow back. Only got the fin. And yes, my wife says, why is he flipping us off? Yeah, when I was trying to show the cuticle. Yeah. Asbiel, any suggestion for stocking a 6.5 gallon bookshelf tank? Oh, cute. Just set up my first planted dirted tank and still researching stocking options. Well, if it's 6.5 gallons and it's dirted, you don't want anything that's going to disturb the soil. So I would not, in a tank like this, put corridors, which I'd usually recommend, like, you know, a little group of corridors. Pygmy cories would be kind of fun. Dirted planted. And are you new to aquariums? If you're new to aquariums, I definitely go with like white clouds. I think white cloud mountain minnows would be a great choice. They come in a variety of colors, a variety of fin types. Well, at least two, standard fin and long fin. And they'll do fine in a smallish tank. Provided parameters are stable, you always want that. But white clouds are pretty darn hardy fish. So that would be a nice one to start with. If you're a little more experienced, it could be really fun to get a pair of like betta chonoides or a small mouth brooding wild type betta in a tank like that and watch them breed. And the babies are pretty easy to raise. You'll need another tank to grow them out, the babies, once they get a certain size. And I don't know if you have other tanks or not, but I think a pair of wild type mouth brooding bettas that are small, some of the smaller types, in a little desktop aquarium type thing, or bookshelf in your case, is great fun because they generally spawn all the time if they're even halfway happy. If you want just like a larger centerpiece fish, a paradise fish I think would be a good choice. Take a variety of temperatures. You wouldn't need to put a heater in the tank. Really hardy fish. And if you have some experience and are able to keep parameters nice and stable, a group of like chili rasboras or strawberry rasboras or neon green rasboras like the Kubatai rasboras, something like that. These aren't super fast swimmers and they're small, so they don't mind being in a smaller environment like that. So those are some ideas I have. Some of the miniature half-beaks, platinum half-beaks or wrestling half-beaks, those are fun too. You just need some floating plants or something at the top for them to be comfortable. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Days Fish Room would like to get some of the red-eyed red puffer. Oh yeah, we already got that one. Not one I can bring in anytime soon for the aforementioned reasons. And what's a good sized tank for a pair of Aphyosemium bivitatum? 2.5 gallons or more. And if you're a crusty old fish nerd, a killifish nerd specifically, then probably like a gallon pickle jar. It's like killifish, most killifish, including these, are not really active swimmers. So they don't need a lot of room. Now, a gallon pickle jar might be a little small long term, but I know plenty of killifish heads that have kept killifish in pickle jars long term and keep like a jar per pair all over their fish room with a spawning mop and probably some peat moss in the bottom and a lid. Like a lot of them do that. Now, they tend to feed live foods so they don't get a lot of the water quality problems you can get with some prepared foods. So here's the thing about live foods. They don't, if they're not eaten, they don't decompose in the aquarium like a flake food or something would, right? They live until they're eaten typically. And so you don't have the problems of, oh, the fish didn't eat it and now it's decomposing and contaminating the small volume of water. The other thing is they're highly digestible. And so you don't have all the fillers in there. There's no like wheat or soy or whatever grain in there like we have in our dry prepared foods. A lot of the components of our dry prepared foods, our flakes and pellets and such, wafers, is not digestible by the fish. It's just put in there as a binder, something to hold the food together. So when you put it in the aquarium, it doesn't just turn to slush and powder all of a sudden, right? So there's different binders and other ingredients that are put in that food that the fish is going to eat but not digest well. And after it's excreted from the fish, after the fish poops it out, it's going to decompose. Whereas live food tends to be highly digestible. They might not digest like the chitin and things like that, the fiber part, but that's not going to create like a big toxic shock to the system or decompose super rapidly. So live foods, one reason killifish breeders, hobbyists tend to feed live food so much is for that reason. Then they can keep the killies in a smaller body of water, have separate pairs and breed them with their mops and such. So. But you know, I used to keep them in 5.5 gallons. I thought that was a good amount of room for them. I could keep the parameters nice and stable and do some different things. I could raise some batches of fry in there up to about 1/4 of an inch. They were a little more versatile to me. So that's what I liked, was 5.5 gallons for Aphyosemium vivittatum. Rogue, what are your favorite guppy? I really like this one. Platinum red tail. Here it is. Yeah, I found it on the first try. The platinum red tail Dumbo ear guppy. I think these are the bee's knees. I love the bright reds on them. It contrasts really nicely with this blue body and the dark Dumbo ears. And then they have this high iridescence on them, which you can see in the aquarium, but you can also see from the top. So if you're keeping them in a tub or a patio pond or something, they just glow from the top. And so they're good in an aquarium, they're good in a pond. They're not the cheapest. These are about $60 a pair, but it's a nice, clean, crisply colored fish. And I think that might be my favorite guppy at the moment. And it has been for quite a while. Something might come in that knocks these off their perch, but from the first time I got these, they became my favorite and they've stayed that way. Now, that being said, there's so many varieties of guppies that are so beautiful, but if I had to pick one, that's probably the one that I would go with at the moment. Okay, I think we have time for maybe one more. There's still 273 folks here. Thanks for sticking to the end, folks. The true, the blue. Mr. Monitor, love dance fish. Guess what? My first baby platies from the adults I got from you were here. They're incredibly adorable. Aw, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that they're doing well and that you got babies. Thanks, Mr. Monitor. Okay, chat jumped. Hang on. Let me see if I can scroll up to the... There's something about peroxide I thought I saw. Oh, geez. Okay, let's see. Is it here? Leo, CFON finally made it official after finally getting her the auto she wanted. Yeah, you can have a ring or these auto sinklets you've been waiting for. Scotty the Fish Freak, or Aphyosemium bivitatum, floating mop or sinking mop spawners. When I breed them, I do a mop that goes from the top all the way to the bottom and falls across a bit. So they'll breed at any level, but depending on how the tank's set up, I've had pairs that prefer to spawn at the top and pairs that prefer to spawn at the bottom, and pairs where I find them all throughout. So I just cover the bases. I have a floating mop that goes down to the bottom and then is long enough to kind of go across a little bit so they can spawn wherever they want in the mop. It is interesting though, like you can take the same pair and it'll spawn on the bottom, then you move it to a different tank and it starts spawning at the top. There's something about how the water flows or the dynamics of the tank somehow that affect where they want to spawn. I don't know what that dynamic is exactly, but they'll spawn in both areas. I just like to give them a choice. All right, I think we're gonna close this out after we say thank you to Geek Boy for the generous super chat. Thank you so much, Charles, appreciate it. Happy holidays and all that stuff. Well, all that stuff's right back at you. I hope you and your lady are doing really well. With that, we're gonna close this out. I wanna thank our moderators for being here and doing the mod thing. I just appreciate you showing up and volunteering to do this. It's helpful, it's appreciated, and it's very generous of you to give us your time like that. So thank you very much. I gotta get a drink. I want to thank Alexander Engelhart for showing up. It's been a while, buddy. Good to see you. And also for the very generous gift of 50 memberships to the Dan's Fish channel. That's awesome. In fact, thank you to all the members of the Fishmonger crew. Thanks for being a member of the channel. If you threw money at us, thanks for the super chats, much appreciated. And if you were active in the chat, thanks for being a participant to make the community strong. Let's see, you're almost done. If you're a lurker, much respect. Hail the Lurker Nation. If you're watching on the replay, hello from the past. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. Hopefully, there aren't too many commercials in this when it's reposted. I'll have to check and see what YouTube does. Anyway, we'll be back next week. I believe that's a true statement. It'll be the 3rd. We will be shipping out significantly more fish that day than we've ever shipped out before. I'm going to be an exhausted mess, but I should be here. So I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a good one. Happy holidays, everyone. Bye-bye.